back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler's responding to Bellator's own Rory MacDonald's PED accusations. And I like Robbie Lawler's response. I like it a lot. Rory MacDonald, I mean, he moved to Bellator, everybody knows by now, and I mean, to me, Rory MacDonald's probably most famous fight that, like, literally, it's gotta be his most famous fight. It was like fight of the decade, was when he fought Robbie Lawler the second time. And in that fight, man, I remember just, holy crap, watching that fight, and Rory MacDonald's nose was broken in probably 25 places. No, I don't know how many places, but that shit was snapped. Robbie Lawler had that cut in his lip. Like, man, there were so many iconic pictures and moments, and that was just such a fucking crazy fight. Well, Robbie Lawler won the fight, and I believe, was it doctor stoppage? I know Rory had to, like, quit eventually. I mean, I'm sure it was a TKO, but I don't remember if the doctor came in or if he just got out of there from the strikes. I think it might have been the strikes, but either way, Rory MacDonald's been fucking blasting Robbie Lawler lately. So yeah, I definitely think he was on steroids when he fought me. And my thing is like, whoa, that's way out of left field. And it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of fake. Because after the fight, Robbie Lawler went and, you know, they were probably both at the hospital together or whatever, but they had that, you know, famous picture at the hospital. And side note though, real quick, you know what I thought of when I was finding this picture for this video? I thought about, you know how like when hunters kill their fucking like deer or something and they pose with that shit, or an animal and they pose with that shit. It looks like Robbie Lawler's posing with his prey and shit. Alright, back to the shit. Well, so Rory MacDonald, I mean, you know, he's smiling and saying, I mean, maybe he didn't want to say, hey man, get your fucking, I don't want to take a picture off you, you probably cheated. But the thing about that is, I don't like when anybody accuses a fighter of being on PEDs or steroids or accusing anybody of that whenever they've never popped dirty. And that's like, you know, tarnishing the reputation, or, you know what I'm saying, damaging their, you know, character, whatever the fuck you want to say, man. I don't like that. So Robbie Lawler's response though is pretty brutal and epic. Like it's low-key savage. This is what Robbie Lawler had to say in response to being accused of PEDs by Rory MacDonald. He said, he spoke to TSN. He said, I think he's trying to figure out why things happened the way they happened, and he's finding a different way to cope with it. And then Rory MacDonald pointed out that part of the reasoning for believing Lawler was on performance-enhancing drugs was his ability to persist in the later rounds. And Lawler responded, said, I mean, I was getting hurt. I got stung by a head kick and he cut my lip with an elbow. But all you have in the end is your will to fight. Ooh, wee. Hey. That's like, he's not like super fucking just clowning Rory, but he's still letting him know, like, hey man, it was my will. I had more will than you, and I understand what you're doing. You're finding a way to cope with this. Robbie Lawler's a savage. This is the first, like, you know, like Robbie Lawler, you don't really get many sound bites out of him, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like good fucking headline material. But I guess it takes somebody accusing him of being on PEDs, and this really isn't, you know what I'm saying, like trash talk. But I do like what Robbie Lawler's saying. Robbie Lawler's one of everybody's favorite fighters. My favorite fighter, your favorite fighter, her favorite fighter, his favorite fighter. So I definitely love that he's fucking standing up to these bullshit PED accusations. Now, when it comes to, and when you're talking about PEDs, one thing about Rory MacDonald accusing somebody of being on PEDs, it's like, bro, you just left where USADA is. I mean, unless you don't believe in USADA, you just went to Bellator, and my guess is that there's more guys on PEDs at Bellator than the UFC. Now, I could be wrong, but it's pretty, you know, USADA alone. I mean, how many guys at Bellator really, off the top of my head, have really ever popped dirty? Like big guys. At the UFC, you've got Junior Dos Santos, John Jones, Anderson Silva, Brock Lesnar getting popped for cheating. So you think they're gonna pop all those guys and save Robbie Lawler? Or you think Robbie Lawler's got that high tech and all them dudes, you know, Robbie Lawler can beat the system and those dudes can't? On top of that, Robbie Lawler training at AT&T. AT&T isn't notoriously known for their fucking champions and their top fighters getting busted for PEDs. There are some gyms that have, you know, more guys than others get busted for PEDs, and AT&T to me is not known as that gym. I mean, when you look at Tyron Woodley, Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, Robbie Lawler, any of these guys, I don't think of any PED allegations that I can think of for any of them. So I don't like the accusations. I do like Robbie Lawler responding to that shit. And this is what he had to say before I get out of here one last time. I think he's trying to figure out why things happen the way they happen, and he's finding a different way to cope with it. So he's saying he's also coping, well, he didn't say this, I was about to add on to it. He's also coping with that shit by going to Bellator. He don't want no motherfucking smoke, or if he did, he would have said, fuck that, I want the third fight. But he didn't want the smoke. Now he's accused me of being on PEDs, and I can't even whoop his ass for it because he's on Bellator. So unless we get a fucking co-promote, I think he might need to just keep that shit over in Bellator, keep my motherfucking name out of his mouth, because I got to fight, who's Robbie Lawler fighting coming up? He just beat Donald Cerrone. I know Robbie Lawler's got a fight scheduled. Wow, Rafael Dos Anjos. Robbie Lawler versus RDA is coming up. Can't wait for that fight. It's going to be a fucking crazy, insane, amazing card. Holy flying, flipping flapjacks, I'm telling you. UFC on Fox 26. The card's like low-key been revealed. I forget the co-main event, but it's fucking, that fight could be a main event. But the main event is Robbie Lawler, I was about to say Robbie McDonald. Robbie Lawler versus Rafael Dos Anjos, two former champions battling it out. What the fuck you talking about? It is what it is, man. Let the full-time family know what you talking about in the comments. MMA from the Heartland. We're supposed to be doing hopefully a Skype call soon. He said he'll put a call on deck. That's dope. So hopefully we can get that done. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you talking about. I already said that in the comments. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.